Greetings everybody, Leviathan here. I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a little rundown exhibition slash guide on how to get the Super Human Conquest done here during Season 5. Superhuman is the hardcore version, and I believe the Thrill is the softcore version, and honestly they operate pretty much the same. The whole gist of the idea here is that you can't use any set items at all in order to clear a GR 45. So you need to be wearing only legendary items on your character. Where this differs from last season was that you could actually wear non-class sets. So that meant you could wear Focus and Restraint. You could wear, actually in some class sets we're allowed to. I guess just no full like armor sets, because you could also do like the Shenlong's Fist. I know monks were pretty popular for that one. So there were some ways to kind of do it in the spirit that wasn't necessarily intended, but you got to do what you got to do, of course. But in any case, you can see here that I decided to do this on my Crusader, which is what I'm mainly rolling with here in Season 5. And because they added a bunch of great items that give multipliers to the Crusader in some of the ancillary slots that aren't taken up by sets, this is actually very doable for Crusaders. Previously, I thought it wouldn't really be all that possible because we needed so much CDR and we relied so heavily on our sets. But you can see here I decided to go with a Blessed Shield build, and I'm gonna try and recall what I did mostly. It was a few days ago, but you know, sleep has been a little on the low side, so bear with me here. But basically it's your standard Blessed Shield build, having Gyrfalcon's Foote and the Jekangbord as your main operators here. So that allows you to cast your Blessed Shield without any wrath cost, and then that's from the Gyrfalcon's Foote, and then the Jekangbord allows it to bounce a whole bunch of extra times, and also got an affix this season that gives it bonus damage to your Blessed Shield, so it makes your Blessed Shield hit a little bit harder, which is good. Some of the other items that are important here, there's a bracer now for your Blessed Shield, which does an increased amount of damage for the first enemy that you hit with it. And then there's also a new two-handed flail that I'm actually cubing in this build, and that allows you to get some bonus damage on your Blessed Shield from the amount of bounces that it does over a certain amount of time. So it kind of works as a multiplier if you want to think about it. When it's bouncing between all these different enemies, there's a multiplier that's building up based on the amount of bounces, and then you're just going to see the damage ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. So sometimes you'll see we like nearly 1 to 2 to 3 shot a couple of things just because it's so the multiplier is so built up. As far as the other items in this setup, I didn't really use anything too noteworthy. To be honest with you, because I kind of rushed it, I wanted to get up there and get on the boards as soon as possible. Probably would have been some more ideal items I would have used, like you know, a good Lyrics Crown just for some CDR reduction, because we still are using CDR skills. So just having a good Lyrics Crown, put a diamond in there, that'd be pretty useful. In your gloves, maybe the gloves that give you a shield whenever an elite hits you, the St. Archie's Gauge, just for the safety, especially in hardcore. Could have been a good choice. There's not a we're using the Holy Rune here on Blessed Shield. I believe it's called Shattered Shield. And there's not a lot of other things that boost Holy that are just random legendaries, so you kind of just pick the best utility powers that you can find. I actually am wearing an Achillocuris, which is a new, well, it's an old item, but it got a new power in this patch / season. And that's whenever you're above a certain percent of primary resource. The low end is 90%, high end's 95%. You get a 50% damage reduction. So that's huge here, of course, because we're not spending any wrath due to the setup that we're using. And that means we always have that 50% damage reduction. So again, you know, being hardcore, this is a T10 equivalent rift, or greater rift, I should say. We just want to make sure that we are taking all the precautions necessary to stay alive. I mean, all you have to do is beat it in 14 minutes, 59 seconds, you know, so while speed is of the essence, you just need to be able to beat it and stay alive. That's the most important part. What else would be useful to speak of? Rings, Unity. I think I went with a Unity, and I mean, that's, that's the main one, of course, to have just for another damage reduction. I can't even think of what the other one was. For the amulet, pretty sure I'm using a Hellfire amulet. That was just like, crit damage, strength, some passive. I think I have Long Arm of the Law as my passive on a decently rolled amulet here. And I think that's it for noteworthy stuff. For a belt, maybe the Vigilante belt. But actually, I'm pretty sure I'm using the String of Ears just for that melee reduction when stuff does get to me. Obviously, it's a range build, and that's another reason why I chose this one as well too, just because you do get some range, so you can separate from some of these crazy, dangerous melee attacks and whatnot. But because some of the gems that I had, I didn't have a Zeiss stone leveled up just yet, so I'm actually playing it a little closer, just because I do have a Bane of the Trapped. So, I want to be able to make sure I'm proccing that, getting the slow on them for that multiplier in damage. So that's put me a little bit more in the fray. You can also see we're using a Bane of the Powerful. It's popping up whenever we kill our elites. Not the best for this because, again, we're not killing super fast, but at the same time, kind of just using whatever is available to me. And then I want to say that my third gem was like an unleveled Bane of the Stricken. Just something because we're going to be at some points just attacking things over and over and over, building up those Bane of the Strickens even at an unleveled amount will still be pretty useful. Of course, if you need more defense too, you could go with like a Mutilation Guard or an Esoteric Alteration, or even your Molten Wildebeest Gizzard, stuff that keeps you sustained or mitigating the damage. As far as the skills go, I'll come back to any more gear if I think about it. As far as the skills go, we are taking, of course, Blessed Shield. That's our main attack. I have the Shield Glare with the damage increase rune on that one. We're using the passive that gives us a crazy cooldown on that Shield Glare, so you pretty much always have it up. And so you're just pretty much throwing that down all the time. And then I'm also using Judgment with Resolved, which gives us a little bit more critical hit chance for the enemies that are in the judged area. And that kind of works nicely because we have Laws of Valor with critical. And if you kind of team those two up, then you're increasing your crit hit chance and you're boosting up your crit hit damage. So they kind of go hand in hand. So it's kind of a little bit of a rotation, as you can see. Kind of Shield Glare something, and then you hit your Law, you hit your Judgment. And so now it should be taking crazy damage. And then whenever we get to elites in particular, if our Akarat's champion is up, I'll be popping that as well too. Pretty much just saving it for those, since those are the most dangerous fights usually. And then we have the horse for the mobility. I have the endurance rune on that one, and then profit on Akarat's champion as per usual, just super tanky. And then for the other passives, we're using the Fervor passive, since this is a one-hander build, and that's just giving you some extra attack speed, extra cooldown reduction. We're also using Holy Cause, I believe, just since it is a holy skill that gives us a little bit of healing, a little bit more damage as well too. And I think the fourth one might be Finery. And then, the last one is that shield block, or the shield one. I can't remember exactly what it's called right now, but it's the one that increases your blessed shield damage and also lowers the cooldown reduction on your shield glare, etc. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can see the rift went, smoothly enough. It wasn't the greatest of rifts. It wasn't the worst of rifts. And then whenever we got to trouble, just kind of back off, kite some stuff. Pretty simple, simplistic. I have no augments. Like, I don't have, this is still like very early in the season. So, this is very doable. 400 or so Paragon, which definitely helps, of course. But, the higher up into the season that you get, or the longer into the season that you get, the more Paragon you have, the more ancient items. Like, I don't have an ancient Gyrfalcon's foot here. Like, none of this stuff is ideal. So it's definitely very, very doable. I actually had to do 2 attempts at this because I didn't realize that you couldn't wear any set pieces at all. I thought you just couldn't complete a set, make a set power. So I actually had like Akkhan's gloves, Invoker helm, like a Roland shoulder or something. And I actually didn't get credit when I completed the GR45 the first time. So you literally cannot wear any set pieces at all, it seems like. But yeah, we're about to spark the Greater Rift Guardian here in a couple of moments. And this one, my first fight was amazing because I actually managed to spawn it right next to a power pylon. So it was a super simplistic, easy fight. And then here, you'll see we get a Rift Guardian that kind of sucks. And the fight's a little more difficult. But it's pretty exciting as well too. I'm also noticing that I do have conventional elements. I think I'm wearing that too. I can't even remember what I think I have a immunity amulet cubed just because I didn't have many choices for cube stuff. So I think I'm wearing Unity, wearing Convention of Elements, and then cubing like a Countess Julia's or something. But yeah, you could see this guy's, he's tough. He's got his clones that come out, so you have to watch your positioning. And of course, he can also wall you in too. So Orlash is not the best Rift Guardian by any means to get for something like this. But so it goes. I think I'm just wearing like random pants. There's no like major pants really that would help out in this one either. And yeah, he also negates your healing too, so it sucks. Yeah, Orlash is just tough. It's me just trying to figure out like what's my strategy, where am I going, what am I gonna do here to get this fight down. Dangerous there, potions on cooldown and low health. But then we get Prophet, or we get Akarat's champion back, so it's all good. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, Just fight this guy down. I was looking for pylons here to see if I could grab one. Nothing doing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And here at the end, you'll get a chance to see the gear that I'm wearing when the gem screen and all that stuff pops up. But I just want to say, if you liked what you saw here, don't forget to hit that like button. You can also subscribe too if you dig the channel. That would always help. And don't forget to hop into the video description below for some other ways that you can support and follow the Leviathan movement, the stream, and all that good stuff. And I hopefully will see you guys around. More videos from Season 5 coming soon.